Welcome to Say More in Raymore, the City of Raymore's official podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Harmer, Communications Director for the city. Each episode will bring you news, updates, and behind-the-scenes stories from your city government, covering projects, events, and the people who help make Raymore a great place to live, work, and visit. On today's episode, we have Nate Musteen, the Director of Raymore Parks and Recreation. Welcome, Nate.
Thank you.
First, tell me a little bit about you. You grew up in Northwest Arkansas, which is one of my favorite places. Tell me what that was like for you.
I grew up in a little town called Pea Ridge, Arkansas. It's just literally, I think my house was 5 miles from the state line in Missouri, so we were right on it. Right there beside Bella Vista, Bentonville, Rogers area, so you hit 49 and you go south and I'm basically home. And it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Had I not met my wife in college and blown out my knee and she got a job first, we'd probably be living down there instead of up here.
So you took advantage of being in the Ozark Mountains. Tell me you went to the state parks and explored all that stuff around there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was a farm kid, so I grew up on a 100-acre farm. My grandpa had a 300-acre farm. My uncle had another 100-acre farm, or 50 acres. And so we were outdoor kids, big time. And it was in the Ozarks. So when you think of what Branson looks like and those types of the hills and stuff, those were our farms. So canoeing, camping, that was every weekend. We actually had I kept a canoe in the back of my truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were one of those kids that grew up with gun racks in the back, and we had tents and everything set up, so we would just go camping anywhere. We had access to all this farmland. I mean, I wasn't the only farm kid. All my buddies were. So we just had it ready to go. So if we want to go camping, you just did. And we went canoeing every afternoon after school. And
very cool. Was there a creek near you or on your property?
Oh, yeah. There was the Elk River, which is down there. I
Yep.
mean, that was 20 minutes from school. And then we had the Big Sugar and the Little Sugar. And the Little Sugar flowed right through my uncle's property. So that's where we camped mostly, was right there on the Little Sugar. And we would drop the canoe a couple miles ahead. And then we would just truck down to Uncle Dub's house. And then
Uncle Dub. Love it.
W.A. Walter Alexander, so he was Uncle Dub. And we would just caravan and we'd canoe down and go camping, spend the night down on Dub's Creek. And
that is so cool. As far back as I can remember, my family, we'd go down there, that area at least once a year, camping and everything. Loved it so much. But you had it 20 minutes away. It was like 4 or 5 hours from me.
Oh, yeah, we were camping, and especially in high school, my dad really liked it. We were on the creek every weekend and probably camping 2 or 3 times a month.
Very cool.
Growing up.
So would you say you're more of a river or a lake person? Because you were also really close to Beaver Lake, right? Not very far away?
No. We were 20 minutes from Beaver Lake. Growing up, I was a river kid or a creek kid. Now I'm more of a lake kid.
What about, I know you talked about tent camping a lot. What about now, tent or a cabin?
Mostly cabins. I will say that I would still prefer to tent camp and do that, but my wife tends to win those arguments, and so we're at the point now, though, we really like just being on the go. The sitting by the lake and just relaxing is not really our thing. We want to get up and go hiking and go do stuff. So cabins and hotels are a lot easier because you can just wake up and go and spend all day. So that's kind of where we're in the mode right now. Is I've still got too much energy to sit. So
well, that's a good thing.
We just keep going.
So you've traveled you've taken some pretty cool vacations over the last few years. Would you say you're more of a beach or a mountain person, or mountain?
Yeah. I really liked Hawaii.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
You had a really great experience there.
Yes, but if you were to ask me, I'm heading to the mountains.
Nice.
No questions.
Yeah. What is your favorite season then? Do you have one?
That's why I like the Midwest, because I like them all. I like them all for different reasons.
We have all of them in extreme, all of them.
Monthly.
Yeah.
But without the business of life and work and kids and stuff, the fall is my favorite relaxed season, and the spring is my favorite restart season, which makes total sense on both of them. But being a tree guy, I really like the spring because I like planting trees and I like watching them sprout and grow and stuff like that. So that's energizing to me, kind of a fresh start every year.
Nice. And one more question before we do get into the actual parks
Okay.
part of this. What would you say is the coolest place you've ever been?
I really liked Alaska. The Northwest is probably my favorite. This sounds weird. I'm going to give up some stuff, but I'm a big Northern Exposure fan. It's a TV show from the 90s. It's like my all-time favorite TV show. And we were doing a road trip up in Seattle when I was in high school, and the show was still on air. And we drove by Roslyn, Washington, which is where it was filmed, and I recognized it. And we had this caravan of like 5 or 6 of our families because we were doing going to a family reunion up there. And we literally pulled this caravan off and went to Roslyn, Washington, and I got to see the set and all of those things. So
did you see a moose walk through?
I did not see a moose at that point. I did in Alaska, but that was just really impactful to me.
Very cool.
Because it was my favorite show at the time, and so I've got coffee mugs and all kinds of stuff from it that I probably would never have gone there if we just hadn't happened by. But
cool.
And you asked me a while ago about like lakes or whatever. I'm a lake fan now because I have a history, like you talked about Beaver Lake. I was a park ranger on Beaver Lake.
You were? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was really how I got headed into my field. And now my family is, my brother-in-law has a cabin at Table Rock, which they're connected with the Corps of Engineers, and the White River. So that's really how I kind of transitioned into Parks and Rec.
Nice. That's actually what I was going to ask you next. Was the way you grew up, obviously that was influential in what you chosen as a career?
So if you look in my high school yearbook and, you look at the senior pictures, they say, what do you want to be?
Actually, could you please bring that in sometime? I do want to see it.
I would love to. Yes, it's showing pictures of myself is a favorite thing of mine. I actually said on there that I would be a park ranger. And nice. I worked for the Corps of Engineers on their maintenance side and cleaned the buildings and stuff during high school. And so I got to see the rangers all the time, and it really just excited me. I liked it. So I went to college for a rec degree, and I came back to Beaver Lake, and I worked as a park ranger for a couple summers, and that's what got me started. And how I ended up in local government or municipal versus the Corps of Engineers is you don't get to choose where you go in the Corps.
Right.
You sign up and they send you where you go. And my now wife, but then girlfriend, we were going to be engaged and we were still in college, and there just wasn't stability on what I could pick and choose, where my counselor in college said, I think you need to transition to this because you get to do what you like, but you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. And so that's really how I ended up in local government. We didn't have parks and rec agencies down there growing up. You had a YMCA, and most everything is kind of on your own. You know, local parents ran the sports groups. It wasn't like a parks department. I didn't see any of that until I moved into the Kansas City area.
Yeah. How long have you been here with the city?
I started October 7th in 2002. It was my start date originally. I worked 10 years and really developed all of the sports, the programs. I was the first true recreation employee the city had, so we weren't doing any sports or anything until I got here, and we took all that on. And then I worked 10 years, and then I left. I went down to the City of Peculiar. They asked me to come down and kind of help them get started. So I was there for not even 2 years, about a year and a half, and the director job for Raymore opened up, and I had several former park board members, city staff members asking me, hey, are you going to apply? And I wasn't sure I wanted to. I didn't know if I wanted to come back. My heart was always here, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to apply and not get it. I struggled with that, and I ended up turning my application in the last day.
Oh, of course.
And I had a former park board member. He called me I was coming home from Peculiar going home for lunch, and he called me and said, "What are you doing? Why haven't you turned this in?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I don't think I can handle not getting it." And he said, "You need to turn this in." And I actually had the application filled out. It was sitting in the truck seat beside me when he was calling. And I just took a left at 58 and went to City Hall and turned it in.
All right.
So that was it.
Nice.
Now I've been back 10 years.
Yeah. And so, and in that 10 years, I mean, our park system has changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much. Even some of the things that have come online, I guess, in the last 10 years, it's just incredible to think about.
We have had just an explosion of improvements, but just remarkable things that most apartments in cities our size will never see. And we've been able to do it in a 10-year stretch.
Yes.
We've won major local, regional, and national awards for things that we've done.
Which is awesome.
And I like talking about it. I don't like getting the credit for it because I'm just pushing everybody else to do things for me is what I'm doing.
Well, sure, but you obviously played a big part. But yes, and I love that in Raymore there are so many firsts in our park system, like first in the state, first in the country. That's really cool for a, at the time, 23,000 population city, a small town.
I'm pretty competitive when it comes to making sure our town has the same things as others. And that's one of the things I like about going to national conferences and stuff, because you get out of your little bubble and you see what others are doing. And I'm always when I see something, I'm like, why not us? More so than we could never be that. So I start pushing for things. I start looking for things that is not normal in our area. And I go and try and find them and figure out how to make it happen. Sometimes we get a win, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge, but it's great to have that positive attitude of like, let's see if we can do this.
Oh, yeah. And I've had some tough conversations with some of my bosses on things that we've tried, and I've had some really good conversations with them on things that we've tried that have worked out. And none of it really bothers me in terms of let's go try for the next thing. I really just want to be the leader in specifically Cass County. I want to be driving and be motivating for other cities to like, we want to be those guys. We want to do what those guys. We want to do more with less like those guys. And I want other directors that I mentor or work with to look and say, if he can do it, I can do it. There's no reason why we can't do this. And if you start looking around the other cities around us, you see things that we've already accomplished 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago that they're doing now. And they're calling, asking me questions, how we got it. And I feel like without being just in their face pushing them, I'm leading by example, and I'm just there to say, yeah, let's do it for your town too. This is great. I'm competitive, but I'm not selfish.
Well, that's good. Share the knowledge and the example.
Yeah.
So let's just go through a couple of our parks and
okay.
our big accomplishments over the last couple of years. Do you want to start with, what do you want to start with, TB Hanna Station?
Yeah.
Okay. That used to be our little downtown back in the day.
Yes. When I started, there were a row of the old municipal buildings right off Washington Street. And police was there, Public Works was there, and there were like 4 park employees at the time that were there. The buildings were really, really cool. I wish there was a way we could have saved them and restored them and used them, but they were way beyond repair. So they were condemned and demolished, and right next to it on the corner of Maple and Washington by the church, there was a little park called JC Park. JC's was an old civic group, kind of like the Optimist Club or whatever. And there was a little shed, and that's where they kept the parks lawnmowers in the shed. And then there was it was old school park, like from the 70s, like a teeter-totter and an old steel swing. I mean, nothing much, a sandbox, right? Well, when we tore down those buildings, we took that stuff out and we made that whole, which was basically a half block, the farmer's market. There was nothing there but grass. There was no parking, nothing. We just mowed it, and we used our field striper, and we striped out boxes, and that's where the farmers market started. And it stayed that way. And up until my first time I left, and that time I was gone, they started building what we now have as the depot. And that finished up. That was the first project I finished up. Former engineer Mike Crass and I wrapped that project up. He really led it and then kind of passed it off to me. So when I got here 10 years ago, it was just the shelter, the depot. Since then, we've been able to acquire property around us. And so the first thing we did was we had an agreement with the church, and we bought the old parsonage that was across where the sprayground is now. There used to be a house there. That was the church parsonage. And so we bought that from the church, and we built parking along there as a shared use parking space for them. And then where the skate shop is now, or the playground, there's a little building, we call it the skate shop. That used to be the post office in town back in I think they built it late 60s. And I mean, it's just a concrete box is all it
Very
is.
Very basic.
But it was the post office, and we were able to buy that. And that's where the old railroad used to run through there. And so when we started looking at what to do with this park, Mike Crass, to his credit, had already built the depot, or what we call the depot is the shelter, but he picked it to look like an old railroad depot because that's where the town, the railroad started, and the old depot station was. So I just went off of that. And we started thinking about what we could do, train theme, how we could incorporate the history, because that is the original downtown. We don't really have a downtown like an old courthouse or Main Street in Belton. Raymore doesn't really have that. We kind of let it go. We didn't keep up with it. So we're having to rebuild it. And I wanted to put a park in that space that anchored that downtown and kept original town connected to the new part, and so there was a purpose to drive down in there. And I think we've done a pretty good job of getting people going down there. The sprayground and playground are huge. We just put a lot of effort into conserving the history, so we restored the old post office, and we made it's a storage building and then a skate shops for the winter when the ice rink is up. We rent skates out of it, and we have a all-inclusive playground, the all-inclusive sprayground. We were able to secure a $135,000 donation from Variety KC, and that really helped us kind of regionalize the park. People know about it because of that and the name recognition.
And if anyone doesn't know, the inclusive part is that it's accessible to all.
Yes.
Yes.
And the train there, that is customized. It's the only train like that we know of in the world, which is basically one of their standard units. And we actually took the train and we spread it out, and we customized the train to accommodate mobility devices, wheelchairs, and things like that. You can buy the train. It's just really tiny tunnels that most children would have to get on their hands and knees and crawl through.
Oh yeah, so
we just spread it out.
Yeah.
You know. And so that's the park that became like the first in the state of playground and sprayground, and the third in the country that had an all-inclusive sprayground. So at that point, it wasn't even 3 acres. It was about a 2-acre park. It was a city block down there, but a lot of stuff packed in 2 acres, and we won some national awards for that one.
Yes. And I got to go with you to go accept one of them, which was very cool.
Charleston? Is that where we went?
We were in Charlotte, North Carolina, an APWA, our second national APWA award for one of our parks.
Yes.
Our other APWA national award was for Hawkridge Park, before we even got all the cool stuff in there.
That award was, Hawkridge has gotten 2. That award for APWA, the first one was for the master plan. They did the master plan. Right as that one was completed was when I came back. So it was basically a fresh print of a master plan, and it was sitting on my desk when I got here, and I just took it and ran.
Nice, because it's 79 acres. Basically, it was just rolling hills and a lake, right?
Yeah, we bought Hawkridge in 2008, and it was nothing. I mean, we were still leasing it for hay to local farmers. and we built this tiny little 10 parking spot asphalt at the end of the street so you could at least walk down and go fishing. And we didn't even mow around it. I mean, it was just what it was.
Yeah.
Then it got traction and started mowing around it. When I got here, we put the master plan in place. Now, some of this growth that we've had, it is largely due to the voters. We passed 2 no tax increase bond issues, 4 park improvements. Hawkridge Park and TB Hanna were both built off of those.
Right.
Supplemented by grants and donations and stuff. But Hawkridge was just a big old hayfield when I started 10 years ago. And
it is so cool to see what it's turned into. And, lately we've been getting a lot of regional recognition for the trails, and it's really cool to see how we're being noticed around the Kansas City Metro for this.
It's fun to get on Facebook and those social media sites, and you're looking at top 10 playgrounds or top 10 trails, and
we're in it.
How do they know about us?
Yeah.
And it's not anything we're doing. It's just word of mouth. People are coming, and that's what you want.
That is what you want. And one of the bigger pieces of this is the actual park, because of the special designs in the grading of the path can only be so many degrees, and everything is accessible. So it's Missouri's first what you would call inclusive, fully accessible park. You can use a mobility device to go all around the park, all around the trail, down to the dock to fish. So that's really up to our amphitheater stage, no steps. It's a concrete path. So everything is accessible, including our gym, the Hawk's Nest Inclusive Playground, which was such a long process of getting there, but just how proud I feel like we are of finally doing that. That was such a huge accomplishment.
I think the Hawk's Nest is really a picture of my career. When we started designing Hawkridge Park, the inclusive part of it was not in the master plan.
Right.
I had gone to a conference, and at the time I had, when you do things like that, you usually have somebody you're champion, you're closely connected to, and they have these needs, and so you fight to provide that. I didn't have that. I went to a couple classes and stuff, and I just kept thinking, our town does not serve this population, and I need to. And I started looking at, I was very, purposeful in everything we did. Like, how do I make sure that meets ADA standards and beyond?
Right.
And so we just started building it, and I quit saying no to things. I said, no, this is what we're going to do. I'll figure out how to pay for it. I'll figure out how to overcome this. And little piece by little piece, it was just and then it became automatic. Like, when we were designing, or we'd have a consultant, and it was an automatic. They were bringing things. This meets your design standards. And I didn't have design standards. I had my own mission. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
There's no design standards in there. But it just kept compounding and building. And so the Department of Conservation, they came in, and they really liked what we were doing with the lake. We entered an agreement with them on helping maintain the lake itself, and which required us to just provide free fishing. So we don't charge for it or anything like that.
Still need your license.
You still have to follow state rules, but there's no charge to fish. And they just absolutely loved that we were inclusive. And so they gave us a couple $100,000 to do a floating dock that was ADA compliant and accessible, a fishing jetty over by the amphitheater that you can wheel right up to the lake and fish off of. The restrooms on the south side are accessible, so you can get in there. And then we just started going from there. I just didn't stop at that point. And we had a playground. There was $100,000 for a playground. in there. And I said,
oh my goodness,
well,
that's a little bit.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're going to get a swing set, you know? And I met some folks at a conference through Unlimited Play, and my park superintendent Steve Rulo, and I, we just said, we got to do this. We got to figure out how to do this. And so we started off with the idea of we're going to take and make it a $500,000 playground. And by the time we were done, we had it's about a $1.4 million
I think
playground.
that's somewhere
in that.
Somewhere around there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we went from $100,000 to, let's just say, $1.4 million playground. Now, it took me a while. We got a grant for $250,000. We did a fundraiser, the gala that you led the charge on. That was the first thing.
And I would like to just thank the leadership here for letting me do that, because nobody knew what I was doing, but they're like, okay, go ahead. And I remember that was at the very beginning of fundraising.
Yeah.
I think we raised $21,000 at that event, and I was like, cool, but also, oh my gosh, we have so much further to go. And then we had the pandemic kind of right after that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to happen?
I thought we were going to lose during the pandemic because you just couldn't do anything. But ironically, it just flipped the other way. I just kept making it bigger. And we just kept going. And I say that playground represents my career is because I just kept looking towards the end. Like, we can do it better. We can do it better. Don't worry about this. We'll get there. We can do it better. And it was about 6 years later. We finished it. And there was less than half of that budget was city funded.
Right. We did get grants. We did have lots of individuals
we
making
sold
donations.
Equipment, and we donations and stuff, and so I'm just really proud of it. I think it's fantastic. I love that people use it. I hate that people abuse it.
Right.
Because you take ownership in there, and I realize that things are going to get broken and things are going to get vandalized, but it hurts a little more with that one.
Well, and also I think the best part, we did this so that not just children with physical disabilities, but also a grandparent maybe with a walker can go all the way to the top of the treehouse with their grandchild. And there are special areas for children with autism. If they need a little break from all of the stuff going on, there's a little kind of like cubby type thing they can sit in.
That is why I call it's universally designed.
Yes.
All-inclusive. There's all-inclusive, which every playground company now says all their stuff is all-inclusive. It's not about the equipment. It's about how you design the equipment to be used, which is what I liked with Unlimited Play, because they would take standard equipment, say, no, if we put it here, or if we add this, you take a whole different element. And so I will describe the sprayground and the Hawk's Nest as universally designed inclusive playground. Right.
And basically meaning we have different ways of getting around, but you go your way, I go mine, and we can meet at the same place.
And our tagline is all ages, all abilities.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And the best part is when, after we open those, and I'm probably going to try not to cry, but we started getting messages from people saying you have changed my child's life.
We moved here for this. And
it was so this is the reason we did it, and it's being recognized, and it's actually supporting, the kids who never got to play on playgrounds because they couldn't get on the stuff,
I know.
So I love it so much.
So I said earlier that, a lot of people have a person or a family member that they champion. And I didn't really have anybody close. I just knew I wanted to do this. But as we got going, and, you learn a lot about that demographic.
And it's a higher percentage than you would have,
way more
than
you
would
think.
Guess. Yes.
My cousin, which we grew up very close back home, and he's like my brother. His oldest son, Austin, is autistic. We didn't put that together, he was just Austin. That's who he was. Yeah. After I built it, we wrapped up the Hawk's Nest and all that. I sent Josh pictures of it and videos of look what we did. I said, I didn't realize I was doing it, but I built this for you to take Austin to. Because I went from a parent's perspective of what would I do if my children needed this.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't doing it for Austin. I actually had Josh in mind, like, I'm going to build the playground for the parent so they don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And so that was the perspective I came from, is it's not trying to find play equipment that accommodates them. It's trying to make a parent's life easier. And that's why we decided to do a sprayground and a playground side by side. So in one setting, they could go and picnic and sit in the shade, and they can have a water park and they can have a playground and not have to go anywhere. We're a one-stop shop right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really, both of those playgrounds, or both of those parks are really amazing for what they offer.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of them. And I think we've just set the tone, like, you just do it. There's no... I mean,
it's kind of a high bar now, Nathan.
It is. It is. It's expensive too. It's not.
It is expensive.
It takes me a while to fund and build things because we don't have a large budget. And if you look at our budget, we are like towing the line every year of. But if you're not aggressive and you're not purposeful in doing it, you'll just get sucked into the current and just do what everybody else is doing. And I want to be different. I don't want to be the same.
Keep everything very intentional.
So there'll be years that we don't do projects because we're saving up to do them later because we want to go bigger and better.
And do it in my mind, the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's sacrifices we make for doing that. We could back off, but we ask our staff to do more so that we can do more. And I think in the long run, it's just a benefit and a blessing for the staff, for the town, everybody.
And that does mean everything is in phases. So
it is.
There are a lot of phases. But, at some point, we're going to get done with the phases. Right?
I've never done a project whole.
Right.
It's always phased out.
Like, if we want it to be the best it could be, there might be a few phases.
And I think that's one of my approaches is I may not be able to get it all done, but I'll get it all done eventually. And so I just go for it. Like, okay, so I can only afford half of it. Well, let's do half, and that gives us a reason to do the other half. And that's kind of how I approach it is you just got to start. If you wait, you'll never get there. You just go. And so that's what I do.
Seems to be working.
I hope.
And, I mean, and like you said, the parks or the playgrounds built for the parents, with the parents in mind. Our parks are not just for children. Like, I love now that Sunset Lane has opened, I come in to work that way. You all set your cruise control because it is so hard right now to go 25.
It is.
I set my cruise control every day through there. But I love looking over, because my other route into town before that opened, I didn't drive by any parks. So I love looking over and just seeing so many people out there every morning utilizing the trails. And it's just one thing that encourages physical fitness, boosts your mental health. You get exposed to nature and trees, and it's just so beneficial to, I think, your mental well-being, in addition to being outside and being physically active.
Outside of like summer camp or sports leagues that are, specific to the younger age groups, our parks are utilized by adults more than kids.
You'd say so?
There's not a time I don't go to the park and see more adults than I do kids.
And we do have a good, they're kind of spread out throughout town, so you're actually not usually too far from one in most areas of the city, which is nice. Yeah. We do have a good number of parks.
And we have a good trail system / sidewalk that connects them. And that's one of my projects next year is kind of overall signage of the parks, re-signing.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. I hope I'm helping with that.
You will be.
Perfect, okay.
And then the trails will be a huge component of signage. So we want to make the trails user-friendly and allow people to be able to find routes and loops and exercise, ways that they can know where to go on a trail and not just it ends, let's just turn around and go back. No, you can loop almost anything you want.
Sure.
We just need to teach them how and provide that. So that'll be part of it next year. I'm pretty excited about that.
That actually, I am really looking forward to that project.
That project I've had in mind for about 8 years. And we just kept expanding.
I
and
know,
building
that's the
park.
hard thing. It's, we have these little accordion maps that we had made a couple years ago and we handed out. People are like, oh, do you have another? Well, we just keep adding streets and we keep adding trails.
Yeah.
So maybe next year at the beginning of the year, maybe we'll be close enough like we can print it off again. And but we do have online on our website, we have trail maps right now at raymore.com/parks, and just click on the trails option. Yeah, we have some trail work going on right now, actually, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, we are redoing most of our trail system. Anything that was built prior to 2018, we went and we passed a maintenance bond. And, well, we didn't pass it. We just took out a maintenance bond to fund the refurbishing of the trails. So all of the old trail system that was once asphalt aging, we're replacing it with new 10-foot wide concrete. So Recreation Park has been done, Memorial Park has been done. Ward Park wrapped up yesterday. They're going to Good Parkway, which is between Lucy Webb and Stonegate. That was the very first project I ever in my career got to work on. And I was a rookie, and my boss just kind of let me tag along at the time and just kind of watch. So we built that in 2003. So it's lasted 22 years.
With concrete, like no more asphalt. It's all concrete. That's going to last longer.
These are what I'm calling my retirement projects. I won't have to redo them.
That's nice.
Before I retire. They're fantastic. And we're at the point now where a lot of our phases of TB Hanna, Hawk Ridge, the bulk of those things are done. And now the trail system's getting redone, and it just felt like, okay, we could probably do this sign project.
Right.
And then just add and tweak it as we go.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went ahead and put it in us.
Let's get going. I mean, it's going to be a lot of signage.
It's going to be a huge project, but it needs to be done. And I think the community is going to notice it and appreciate it a lot.
Right.
Because as we built these, we've just taken the old signs down and haven't put them up. So there's very little signage out there. We know the rules, but not everybody does because they're not signed. So it does get frustrating from a staff perspective of why are they doing this? Well, we're not telling them that that's not allowed, or we're not telling them that they can. And so it's just time. And I think our park system has been developed enough that we can do it.
Do you want to talk about some of our facilities, the Raymore Activity Center and Centerview, and what we have available with those?
Yes. I'll talk about the rack first, because that was the one thing in my first tenure when I was doing the sports. And see, now we have 3 people doing what I did as one person in the 2000s. You know, that's how far we've come and grown, is we've added a rec coordinator to do all the summer camps and the special events, and we have a specific athletic coordinator that's just sports. We've grown so much. And we have a recreation superintendent over facilities, which we never had any. So we've come a long way, and we're still not very big, but we do a whole lot with what we have. I say all that to, when I first started, we were in the schools 100%. I was renting gymnasiums for volleyball. The school district was still doing basketball, and eventually they said, hey, this is a beast we can't do anymore. Do you guys want it? And I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, I do. But I don't know where I'm going to put it, so we just kept taking things. And it was always a dream to, like, man, I wish we had a gym, because Belton had the community center. Harrisonville had a community center, you know, and we were up and coming, same size, just competing, and we didn't have anything. And so always
come on now, we had the little park house.
We had the park house, that's right.
Couldn't really do a lot in there, though.
Spent a lot of time in that park house. You know, you just dream and like, man, if we just had a gym. And I never really saw it happening. And then I did my 10 years and I left, never thinking I'd be back. And when I came back in 2015, that was the first thing they handed me was, hey, while you were gone, we did this feasibility study and we want to do this. It's basically a community center, but we're going to split it into 2 buildings. And we're going to give you an event center and then a gymnasium. And I'm just thinking, wow, did I come back at the right time?
Right.
You know? And so So we went to the voters for that first 2016 no tax increase bond issue, and it passed. And now we have Centerview. Now we have the rack. And I think a lot of folks come at us and ask, like, why do you not have like a community center like Belton or Harrisonville, and you don't have a pool? And I'm like, well, we have all those things. We just have them separate and better. And I say that as a little bit of a dig to my buddies over in Belton, because I can.
We get to do that sometimes.
But I'm not lying. Our Centerview event space is so much better, I mean, than what you would add to a community center, you know.
Right.
And the rack is so much more flexible and usable because we simplified it as opposed to overdoing it to where sometimes there's just this level of simplicity that makes it more usable than if you just add everything, and now it's complex and you got to figure out how to make it all work together. The rack is what it is. People come in all the time saying, well, where's the gym equipment and, you know, the fitness stuff, or why didn't you build a pool? And my first answer is, we wanted to build gymnasiums so that we could play sports inside without having to go to the schools.
All year long. Yeah.
Well, man, I wish we really had fitness equipment. I'd be here. And I'm like, there's 4, gyms
through town.
In town.
Yeah.
If I built one, nobody makes money. Everybody loses. And that's what I kept telling them. Like, there's no point in it. I can't do this cheaper than they can. But I can do this better than anybody else can. So we built this. And we are rented all the time. It hosts our summer camp. We have open play volleyball on Monday nights. We have open play basketball in the winter. We have walk-in, an indoor walking track, adult leagues, youth leagues. We have private volleyball clubs are our largest renter of the rack, and they're in there year-round. I mean, we just wrapped up, not even a year ago, the expansion, which added a whole nother gym, indoor pickleball courts, 2 more volleyball courts.
And those rooms,
two
multi-purpose
party
rooms.
We call it the sportsmanship. So there's the resilience room, and what was the other one? I should know. I named it.
Hold on, let me look it up.
But you can rent those rooms as private parties. So you can have a birthday party in there plus a court. And so you can have kids' birthday parties where you bring in pizza and do all this stuff, and then they can go out and play basketball for a couple hours. And so as a private rental, it's great. Can't find it either?
Oh, it's called full multi-purpose space. Larger multi-purpose room and smaller multi-purpose room on the website. Maybe we need to update that. Yes.
So the rack is fantastic. We really like it. And averaging 100 kids a day for summer camp tells you that it's what parents wanted. And we have room to grow.
Right.
You know, it's 100 kids is not anywhere near capacity of what we could do. Centerview is such a jewel. I said when we did the grand opening of Centerview that Parks and Rec finally has a home.
Yes.
That is where we office. And at the time, I'd only 13, 14 total years of Raymore. But in that 14 years, our office had bounced around 3 different places because we didn't have anywhere of our own. We were in the Public Works building, the old downtown, for a little bit. We were in a trailer behind the original City Hall. Then we were at the Public Works down by the where they currently are. Mm-hmm. Then we bought the old Park house, and if you were in there, it wasn't an office. It was just an old house that.
Was your office space like in the living room or a bedroom or something?
I had the back bedroom.
Yeah.
I chose the back bedroom because it had the window looking over the park. So, but it truly is our home. It's our offices are there, mine's over there, but the flexibility of that, we can run programs or we can run classes. You can do weddings, you can do receptions, conferences, trainings, blood
events.
drives,
I've had events
concerts.
There. Yes.
I don't think there's anything that we haven't tried and it's not worked well. What's great about it is it's got the patio and the fire pit, so you can do evening stuff. We just wrapped up a $500,000 boardwalk butterfly gardens behind it that is now connected to the trail system. This is the first growing season, but wait till next year when all those things hit.
I can't wait.
If you walk back there now, there's a lot of color,
right?
A lot of flowers, and just they always say with the landscaping plan, give it 3 years, it'll be at full capacity. In 3 years, if it's anything like what we're expecting, it's going to be just beautiful. We're actually going to submit that as an award recipient, and we're nominating the project for an award, and we'll see how that goes. You don't win unless you nominate. I'm not one that typically nominates, but the firm that helped design it, they want to.
Sure.
And I'm like, sure, I'll help you do whatever.
And also, I mean, how important it is to have monarch way station.
Yeah.
We have endangered pollinators,
right.
And so that will be a perfect space back there for them.
It'll end up being about 6 acres of monarch native plantings and stuff, so it's big. It's
going to be really cool. Yes, the plants are kind of small now, but I can just imagine what they're going to be in the next couple of years.
And what's great about that particular project, it's also a stormwater project. Those were just basins that collected stormwater and then it dissipated out. We just enhanced it and made it better.
Yeah.
And
so it was functional, but now it's pretty.
Now it's pretty. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And if you've not walked the trail, the boardwalk back there, it's just fantastic. It is really cool. We have signage back there of what the plants are going to be and what we've done and how it works. Just really proud of that project. I think it's unique. A lot of cities don't get to do things like that because it's not necessary. We could have not done anything back there and it would have worked just fine. It was just the approach that we always have of, well, why not? Let's try it. So that one we took to the voters and we asked for their permission to do this back there, and it was approved and with no tax increase. So I think we did a pretty good job. I think all of those no tax increase bond issuance projects, I think our voters are proud and pleased with what we've done.
And it just enhances the quality of life for our residents.
We're not the fastest growing city for nothing.
Right, that's true. That is true.
I mean, there's components of why you are a fast growing city. And people that don't believe that Parks and Recreation are a part of that, I don't know what they're looking at. Because if you're not coming to a town for their parks and their athletics and just the natural beauty of the town and having things to do in town,
then
why are you living there?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, I think always it's just been I want to make sure that what I'm doing is a major component of why your town is thriving and growing. And I just tried to do that. And sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. Some people don't care about parks, and that's all they care about. And so I just try to be right in the mix no matter what it is.
Yeah. Parks are the one place you can essentially just go to for free anywhere.
Well, as much as I hated the pandemic, which I know everybody did.
Not the best time.
But where was everybody going?
Yeah, the parks were the only thing you could do.
We were so busy. I mean, we had shut down all our sports and stuff, but from a maintenance perspective, we were slammed during that time because our parks were getting so used. And I think our town really found our park system during that because there wasn't anything else to do. I mean, and if you wanted to go outside, we were the destination to go. And I think our community found us during that time, and we haven't stopped since then.
That's right.
So that's great.
That is great.
There's a positive out of a negative, right?
Yeah. So here we are, 52 minutes into our 25-minute podcast.
Am I a two-parter?
You might be a two-parter, or I might just, take a break.
Play it all, huh?
Yeah. So I know we talked a lot about a lot of areas, but we didn't talk about the sports and recreation opportunities. We still have Recreation Park, which is down where the RAC, the Raymore Activity Center, is located. Yep. That's where the majority of our sports happen. And what are we gearing up for?
Okay, so Recreation Park. As much as I love Hawk Ridge and as much as I love TB Hanna, Recreation Park is still our centerpiece. It's still our crown jewel. It is the one that consistently draws people from out of town for the sports. And I have yet to have somebody from out of town not say good things and not compliment or not, come to me and say, man, I wish you guys would come show our parks department what needs to be done. That's the ultimate compliment when they're coming and saying, even though there's not much, it is just
so
aesthetically beautiful.
And
it's my guys take so much pride in keeping Rec Park pristine because it's used. And if you don't stay up on it as much as we use it,
right,
you will tear it apart. And so we put a lot of effort and a lot of time in there. Big time sponsorships with Big Green sponsorship that we did last year of redoing all the islands in the roundabout.
Right.
That was huge. You don't drive down there and not see the work they did and think this park is beautiful.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. So we put a lot of effort in there. Our soccer program, our flag football, which is our fastest growing sport, is flag football. You will notice in sports that as our professional teams go, so do our youth sports go. 10 years ago, when the Royals were really good, our baseball numbers were skyrocketing. Now that the Chiefs have had a pretty decent 5 run, our flag football is just going crazy. And our baseball is kind of softening a little bit. So you see sports come and go. Soccer's the same way. When Sporting KC was doing really good, soccer was really good. We got the World Cup coming up, so we expect to see soccer really take off next year.
KC Current.
Yeah, the Current.
Big deal.
A lot of. And so our sports are extremely popular right now. And we keep track of our numbers in comparison to the other cities. We share play. And the goal with the South Metro Sports Group is to stay consistent so you can share if you need to, but stay in-house if you don't have to. We're literally at a point where we don't have to share. We're share playing because they need us.
Oh, gotcha.
We could stay in-house in almost every sport, maybe a couple divisions, or the older ones where just numbers aren't there. So my rec team is leading the charge, and we just are bigger than the others. And I don't say that to brag, it's just what the numbers are.
Hey, yeah.
But with that, that's great, but there's a lot of abuse on your fields and on your equipment, and you're maxing out. And so when your sports takes up more time than your drop-in play, and for regular folks, it's not there because you're maxed out. So is there room to grow? Yeah. We can always take more. My dad always said, all it takes is more money.
That's it. No big deal. Yeah.
If we want to add more, it's just going to cost us a little more, and then we build it up and go. But our big thing coming up right now is fall sports. So soccer, baseball, softball, basketball's coming up, and volleyball's coming up. Those are big, and flag football. So we're about to hit them all. A week from tomorrow, we have is it a week from tomorrow? Maybe 2 weeks from tomorrow, we have the Rugged Raymore, our mini mud run.
Yep.
Which started that. I used to do a couple of the mud runs, and the whole time I was doing those, like the Tough Mudders and stuff, all I kept thinking at the time was, man, I wish my boys could do this. This is so cool. This would be so cool for kids. And when we got done, I was looking, and City of Columbia did one. And I literally just stole the idea. And
you were inspired.
A former employee, Jerry, and I come up with the idea. She wanted to do it, and I had done them before, and so I come up with a lot of the ideas. And it's just been fantastic. It's so much fun.
I love seeing the kids running through so many times.
Yeah.
They're just covered in mud from head to toe. Biggest smiles on their faces. Oh, yeah. It is shoes missing. It is just so fun.
It's the one event, and even my maintenance guys will notice, because that's one that they have to work. A lot of times those guys do their 8 to 5s, and they don't see what they do in the evenings. This one we work, and they notice everybody's smiling. It's the one event, one thing that, in a sport, if a bad call's made, a parent's going to be frustrated how they're playing. Or the mud run, everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. Yeah. You get done, and the parents are like, go again. All they're doing is getting them tired, It's just one of those community events where We have so many volunteers because people want to volunteer for those stations. They love watching it. The Optimist Club comes out every year.
Every year, yeah.
And those folks, we're having to haul them down to some of those spots because they're in some pretty tricky areas of Hawk Ridge Park that's hard to get to.
Right.
And they're troopers. They just love it. So that's coming up. And we do that always the Friday before school starts. That's our idea is that's kind of like the last summer blowout before school. So let's go get muddy and let's go wear out the park system. And that's our last big thing before traditional stuff starts up again.
And I think one of the most fun parts of that too is when they're done, sometimes South Metro Fire will be there like hosing them off. Because to wash them off before their parents let them get in the car.
I know. Last year we had to rethink how we're doing this because last year it was so muddy, which is exactly what you want. But they were going to the shelter restrooms to wash off.
Oh, God.
And the playground was just muddy and filthy. The restrooms are bad. And so the guys were like really after me, like, we got to reroute this thing because we don't want to be cleaning bathrooms the whole next day.
Right.
Like, I agree. Yeah. So we'll figure out what we need to do there. So the South Metro's spraying them down is very helpful for us.
Yes.
We just got to position it right so that at the end
before
they're close.
Before you go to the bathroom.
Because the idea when we started having them was let's have them up there to rinse them off before they get in their cars.
Yeah.
Now we got to rinse them off before they go to our playground because it's become like a family event. You go do the mud run and then you go walk the trail or you go on the playground or you have your picnic or whatever. So the park is busy that night and we just got to those are growing pains. I will take them all the time.
Yeah.
And our mountain bike trails, our volunteer group for our mountain bike trails, they're so gracious. The work that they do, which is a regional draw. People down in like the hub of the Ozarks, Bentonville, and stuff, know about our trail system. And it's fantastic.
I was just seeing that. Someone said, if you want to ride with me, let me know. But like I'm more than an hour away, so usually when I come up, I make it a point to spend a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
And a lot of it's because it's constantly changing. Those guys are so dedicated and love it so much. They're constantly changing and improving it. So every time somebody comes up, there's something new about it. And now that we're doing the expansion, we've limited them. And once the construction's done, they'll reroute the whole thing. But they allow us to use their trails for the mud run because it just helps wear them in and break them in. And it's just such a cool partnership that I don't really even try to do. It just naturally happens.
Yeah, really, they're doing everything, which is great because they have a sense of ownership in it. And so, they're constantly improving it and attracting a lot of people. It's really fun.
One of the members is on our park board, and we just stay in close contact, and we go out and we do inspections with them and make sure. I mean, there's some things that we're like, no, you're not doing that.
A little too adventurous.
And so we just stay with them, and they ask sometimes, like, hey, can you help us put up some signs or do some of this? And we're like, we'll do that for you because we are definitely getting the benefit more than we deserve on that because we're just outside of mowing and spraying weeds and poison ivy. We don't do a whole lot there, and we reap a lot of benefits of it.
Right. One last thing. This has been very long, but that's good because it's like I don't feel like we've been talking for an hour, but there's just so much going on with parks and so many.
I told you 30 minutes was not going to be enough.
I know. You love talking. We do know that, and it's easy because there's so many good things to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about looking to the future? Do you want to talk about the big master plan that we just have in the...
I'm so tired.
It's okay. We don't
No, I absolutely do.
Although we do have a meeting in 10 minutes.
Yes, I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
We, as far as our current projects, we've got a couple more years of those phasing. And I think from my career perspective, although I'm not old at all, I've been doing it a long time, and I need to start thinking about what's next in terms of what I'm doing here for Raymore. So personally on my checklist is I want to wrap TB Hanna, I want to wrap Hawk Ridge, and I want to make sure that our standards, Memorial Park and Rec Park, are hitting on all cylinders. Those things are done so we can move on. Because what we have moving on is our parkland dedication ordinance has benefited us tremendously the past couple years in terms of dedicating land for the future. So we have a dog park over off 163rd and Madison that we'll actually do that within the year. We'll start construction on that. And it will be a mix of small dog, large dogs, and it's such a large property. We'll probably end up adding some practice athletic fields in there because it's a big space. And then the big one is the ranch. It's 154 acres down adjacent to Bridle Ridge Elementary School off 195th.
So southwest portion of town.
Yeah, southwest portion of town. And in our comprehensive master plan, I've kind of laid out the groundwork of what that's going to be. And I'm really, really excited. It is nothing like anything in our county or anywhere. The things that we're attempting to put in are, you're driving hours to get to some of those things.
I was just going to say, it's things that you think you would have to leave town or possibly cross over on the Kansas side to go to.
Yes.
But it'll be right here.
I am super excited about it. The issue with it is the funding of it. Things like that don't come easy. They're not cheap, and an annual budget can't afford to do those things. So you have to plan, and you have to prepare, and you have to phase, and you have to do those things. So I realized that as much as folks are reading it in that comp plan and they're thinking it's happened, it's really more of a 10-year plan.
Right.
I have to look ahead. We're going to do this then, and I'm putting the steps in place, the measures in place. And so I tell myself a lot of times, like, I'm teeing this one up for the next guy to bring it home. And if that's all I get to do, then I'm going to make him or her very successful when they get to come in, because I'm putting all the measures in place and I'm putting all the plans in place. So all they have to do is come in and execute. And so that's really what I'm focusing on. And a lot of that is leading the charge, anticipation, developing buy-in from park board, council, community, all of those things. And honestly, that's the fun part for me. I like it better than the actual construction. The construction part is difficult and it's hard. It's fun leading up, and then I could skip that part, and then we could just open it. And so maybe within that, I'll hire a project manager and sometime in there, so I don't have to do that part. But if you want to see what the ranch is going to look like, go online, go to our comprehensive master plan. We are Chapter 5. Our Parks Master Plan is Chapter 5, and it will tell you everything you want to know about our park system. It's fresh, brand new, so you're going to see Hawk Ridge Park, TB Hanna, Rec Park, all of it, including our future parks, things we want to do, things we need to do, things we have to do.
Yeah, through the next couple decades.
It's a good plan that is usable. It's not just, wow, you guys got this, and then you put it on your bookshelf and you never look at it again. It is an executable plan.
Right.
And pretty proud of that one too. I had a hand in doing that one too. So
yeah, I would say, I think you shoot for the moon, but it's also realistic.
Yeah.
But as you do, you always want to go big, do it right, do it the right way.
And I think over my 10 years as a director, I've figured out a good balance of I'm gonna shoot for it, but I'm gonna make it practical enough that I can actually get there.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so that's kind of how my career has been, is like, okay, let's go for it, but let's have a good plan in place to get us there so that we're not just wasting our time or empty promises. I don't like doing that. If I say it, I want to go do it.
Do it, yeah.
It may take a while, but I'll get
You're
you there.
You're going to get there. All right. Well, I think that we have an excellent park system. I'm so glad that you're here and making these things happen, and I know you have an amazing team, and you work with a lot of really great vendor.
Well, you're a pretty big part of it. I mean, you come in on the backside with the arts stuff that we don't do.
Yeah,
and you complement what our offerings are. You use our facilities in ways that we don't.
I do love using your parks.
Yeah, so I think collectively we all just make it a better place. We all have our little spot in it, and
that's what we're here to do. We're here
absolutely.
to serve serve the people of Raymore and
Yeah.
here to make it a
Some
great
get it.
place to live.
Some get it, and some haven't seen it yet, but we'll get them.
We'll get them. We'll get
get
them. Well, thank you again so much for being here today,
Yeah.
Nathan. And thanks for sharing about parks. And anytime you want to come back, I'm pretty sure we could talk for an hour more.
Yes, we could.
So we'll catch up with you maybe later this year. But thank you again so much. And
Well, thanks
it's
for
been a
having me.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.